I think there are very few Americans right now who have any idea why the United States did this. All of the purported explanations for what's happened here don't stand up to logical scrutiny. The president has never articulated a coherent rationale for having done this. This seems like Marco Rubio's dream, not Donald Trump's dream.
Oh no! Americans don't know what's going on. I'm so scared. Ah! You can't hate our media enough. You just can't hate the media enough. Yesterday morning, Rachel Maddow made a very rare appearance on MSNBC, or as they are now being forced to call themselves, MS Now. Yesterday morning, Rachel Maddow made a rare appearance for her primary subsidizer, which continues paying her $20 million a year not to work. And during her brief appearance, Rachel Maddow expressed her fake outrage towards Don Trump. She had just gotten off the phone with her twin brother, Stevie, and Rachel Maddow wanted you to know that she's mad. Naturally, she blamed the Trumper for her uncontrollable feelings of rage. But my inside sources are telling me that Rachel Maddow wasn't mad that Don Trump invaded Venezuela and captured Nicolas Maduro, which is exactly what Don has been warning Nikki about for months now. Whether you agree or disagree with Donald Trump invading Venezuela to capture a cartel leader who was disguised as a dictator, whether you love or hate the Trumper, the one thing you can't take away from him, Don Trump isn't afraid to back up his words with action. When he tells Iran, I'm gonna blow shit up if you say the word nuclear in casual conversation. When he tells Nicky Maduro, I'm coming for that ass if you keep sending drugs into my country. Unlike our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, when Don Trump says it, he actually means it. But anyway, my inside sources, they are telling me that Rachel Maddow, she wasn't mad about the Trumper capturing an international fugitive. The reason Rach was so emotional, the reason she was so upset, Don Trump implemented this attack on a Saturday, on a weekend, which means Rachel Maddow was forced to show up to work on one of her 6 days off. This was intentional. Don Trump knows I only work on Mondays. He did this on a Saturday as an act of revenge for all those years that I pushed the illusion of Russian collusion. This is further proof that Orange Man bad. Speaking of Russian collusion, or as normal people prefer to call it, lies and propaganda, Uncle Casey is rather confused by this fake outrage that we are seeing from the mainstream media. Over the last 24 hours, the media has attempted to crucify the Trumper for putting an American boot in Venezuela's ass. But back in 2019, the same media, the same liars, the same propagandists, they were criticizing Don Trump for not interfering with Nicky Maduro when he allegedly stole the election in Venezuela. Matter of fact, the media claimed that this proved Don was a tutor for Vlad Putin. Watch for yourself.
Strongman Nicolas Maduro is still in power as Russia's support for him remains steadfast, sending a clear message to the world of America in retreat and Vladimir Putin filling the void. And you know, it's remarkable because Vladimir Putin isn't even that popular here in Russia right now because of the bad economic situation and a botched pension reform. So these foreign policy gifts that he keeps getting from President Trump not only make him stronger abroad, but also help keep him in power here in Russia as well.
One of the arguments the president makes is that these places are thousands of miles away, the U.S. doesn't need to involve itself. And hey, if Russia's going to get involved, so be it. Part of what President Putin's been doing is looking for spots in the world where there is a leadership vacuum and an opening to have influence.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. In the year of our Lord 2019, the media wanted the Trumper to get involved in Venezuela. But in 2026, that same media claims that dismantling a dictatorship is bad. I wonder why. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about the real reason, hell, the only reason that the current bowl system in college football has not been dismantled. Yesterday afternoon, it became abundantly clear to me why these meaningless bowl games that no one cares about, these games that are being played in stadiums that are empty, it became clear as to why meaningless bowl games are being kept on life support. I'll give you the reason, so if you haven't already, click the link in the description or the pinned comment below and subscribe to the second channel. According to the media, the Trumper invading Venezuela is illegal. It's unconstitutional, damn it! He didn't get the approval of Congress. He didn't ask AOC, LGBT, or Bernard Sanders what they thought about this. Why would anyone seek the guidance of Ocasio? Why would anyone ask Bernard for his lack of wisdom? If I needed the ingredients for Don's special brand of lemonade, I'd ask Alex the bartender. If I needed someone to lie to my face, I would ask Bernard Sanders to tell me how great communism is working in Cuba. But if I'm invading a foreign country to arrest the alleged leader of a drug cartel who is disguising himself as a dictator, the last people, and I mean the last people, I am seeking advice from is AOC and Lieutenant Doofus. There seems to be a lot of confusion as to what constitutes war. The media is trying to convince you that the Trumper is starting World War Trace, just like they tried to convince you that Don was starting a war when he decimated Iran over the summer. Correct me if I am wrong here, because I seem to remember the Don sending the most powerful military in the world over to Iran. I seem to remember our brave men, our brave women, dropping bombs on that ass, and I don't remember a single member of our military returning home with an Iranian ant bite. Matter of fact, I don't remember Iran doing a damn thing in retaliation. Back in 2011, Barry Obama, or as the mainstream media prefers to call him, our Lord and risen King. Back in 2011, Barack Obama invaded Pakistan and ended the life of Osama bin Laden. At the time, he was universally praised by the mainstream media, and rightfully so. But I don't remember the media expressing their fake outrage. I don't remember the media being concerned about World War Trace. They were too busy celebrating Barry. But when the Trumper captures Nicolas Maduro, the media wants us to believe that he is trying to be a global king. I have seen some in the media worried about retaliation from Qatar. What? Qatar? What in the hell is Qatar gonna do? How are they going to retaliate? Are they going to supply arms to Tucker Carlson? The same Tucker Carlson who recently said that drugs are a bigger threat to America than radical Islam? Look, I don't know why Donald Trump is doing this, and unlike the useless media, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know his reasoning. Maybe oil is the primary motivation. Venezuela, I believe, has the largest oil reserves in the world. Maybe Donald Trump is using those reserves so we are not reliant on the Middle East when Iran is inevitably destroyed. Maybe drugs actually are the primary motivation here. Maybe Donald Trump is sending a clear message to China and Russia that America is not playing around. Several months ago, Glenn Beck claimed that Venezuela was working with Iran and allowing Islamic terrorists to be trained on an island off their coast. Maybe it is a combination of all of those reasons. I don't know. What I do know is the people of Venezuela, they appreciate Donald Trump. Contrary to the belief of the mainstream media, who wants us to believe that Venezuelans are pissed that their country was invaded, thousands, maybe even millions of people were celebrating yesterday because they were no longer living under a tyrannical dictator. Meanwhile, the American media continues to lie, and they are desperately trying to convince us that Orange Man bad. Their main point, or one of their main points of contention, seems to be that Donald Trump claimed yesterday in his speech that America is now going to control Venezuela. And look, I get it. I don't want another experiment in nation building. I don't want another 20 years wasted of rebuilding another country. I don't want another trillions of dollars wasted. But to me, here's the difference between Venezuela and a third world dump in the Middle East. Our cultures aren't the same, but they are very similar. Venezuela used to be a prosperous nation. Countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, they have been living in the Stone Age since the Stone Age. The largest religion in Venezuela, Christianity. So if the Trumper is rebuilding Venezuela, he's not rebuilding an Islamic country like George Bush was trying to do with Iraq and Afghanistan. He's not rebuilding a country that is the complete opposite of America ideologically. He's rebuilding a country that has a similar culture to us. He's rebuilding a country that could be an ally. Now, is it the right move? I have no idea. Uncle KC is no expert in international politics. What I do know is the media was concerned about Venezuela in 2019. During the 2020 election, Joe Biden was claiming that Donald Trump wasn't doing enough for Venezuela. Joe Biden was claiming, I am the man who is strong enough to support democracy in Venezuela. Joe Biden was given 4 years to support Venezuela. He didn't do a damn thing. Donald Trump actually did something about it. Whether it was the right decision or not, that remains to be seen. But at least we have a president now who is willing to make a decision. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.